Can't wait to eat this fried tofu. It's gonna be good. And he's back.
Yeah, I'm back.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was my mistake. We had to cut this short because my phone actually it kicked the bucket right when I asked this gentleman a question, and I apologize. But we're back. So, did you use the bathroom? I used the bathroom. Get you a drink of water.
I used the bathroom, and I was cussing and stomping around.
Man, I was like, as soon as my phone was like, bloop, the screen would just go bloop. I was like, oh no. So now I had to run around it. But if I showed you what my screen looks like right now, I had to take one of those Velcros and attach it to my power bank so I could see.
All I seen, oh my God, I was, because you can tell this, because your screen, it went off, and then it was like something happened, but I tried not to let it. It's kind of like being on stage and something's going wrong, but you still got to perform. I was like, so I'm going to still answer the question. I answered it. I think I gave a good detailed answer by myself, but
well, you're gonna have to improv it again. My bad. Okay,
I don't know if I can do it exactly the same. We'll go ahead. We'll try.
Well, we won't know though. Well, if it caught anything, I doubt it. Before the Riverside Cloud just died with the phone. But the question was, and I'll go back to when we were trying to set this up, and you mentioned that you were not the same person, because I was looking for some kind of substance to be able to reference, you as an individual, your work, whatever. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned that you are not the person that you were. And my question to you prior to my faux pas was, what is different about you in any way that you feel, led to share with us?
Saying, like holistically, mentally, spiritually, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. So emotionally, I'm a lot better at handling my emotions. I'm a lot better at allowing my emotions to be what they need to be so they can teach me. Mm-hmm. A lot of people that are mad, they're really hurt, right? It's okay to be mad at at people, but really you're hurt. So I've learned to just deal with the actual issue and allow myself to express myself the way I need to. Mentally, depression has gotten, depression, anxiety, PTSD, all these things. I'm a lot better at dealing with the thoughts, the things that go in my mind, a lot better at identifying what is actually my thoughts and the thoughts that don't belong to me. I have certain meditations that I do, breath work, which I know you're familiar with, to center me and get me in alignment with what is. Spiritually, you're a seeker too. So, along this spiritual journey, we're seeking, we're trying to figure out what is. Because I can only imagine what it was like when your dad was trying to figure this stuff out. But now everybody's got a platform. Everybody's talking about this is better. This is the way. So being a mystic is you dibble and dabble a little bit of all these things and see what feels right with you. So for me, I'm very, how can I say? Because what happens is I'll find something that intrigues me, and then I'll look into that, and I'll kind of, dive into it. And then I'll get to a block, and then I'll reach a point where I'm like, it doesn't fit right anymore, and then I have to detach from it. And not only do I detach from it, now I have to deprogram from it. So after doing that so many times, I became very selective with what I decide to get involved myself in. But this is a part of the process, because the more you go through stuff, now when you're asking God, Spirit, you're more specific about what you want to be involved in. And then when you ask, then things start to reveal itself. Excuse me 1 second. I don't know. It's a
Mm-hmm.
little chilly here, but so that's one thing. I said mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. So I'm a lot different. My diet has changed over the,
Mm-hmm.
well, not, it's not even a diet. It's more just the things that I eat. I try to put life into my body. As you
Mm-hmm.
know, food is information. A lot of this food, and
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy, even when you think you're trying to eat healthy, you still can't be too sure about that because they're finding ways to cut corners into something that says it's healthy and really not, you know?
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
living in a day and age where it's becoming, and I remember when I started to be on my hype about, all right, I want to do better, I want to eat better. That was like 5 years ago. But now, if people starting to want to get into it, now you got to figure out the snares and the traps that people use to cut corners. The saying is, if it's on the front of the package is for entertainment, the back of
Mm.
the box is for information. So
Information.
we
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
look at what's going on, because a lot of these companies and these things, they're in it for the money, the profit. So you
Mm-hmm.
really have to be careful. So I don't eat. I don't know when the last time I had any meat was because my mom cooked for Thanksgiving and I had a little bit of chicken. But after I ate
Mm-hmm.
it, I knew I'm gonna have to detox it. Like that's the mind frame. I'm gonna have to detox this
Mm-hmm.
chicken because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
this chicken, and even though she knows to be organic and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
still, if you don't know who
Unless
raised
you
the
raising them
chicken,
yourself. Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
these are the things that has caused me to make drastic changes and caused me to be
Mm-hmm.
not the man that I used to be. And I'm a lot more. I'll say this too. Um, my understanding of God, the universe, source,
Mm-hmm.
my relationship, what is, because when you're programmed, it conditions you to say, okay, well, this is right, that's wrong. I could be this way, I'm not supposed to be that way. But when you're on this
Mm-hmm.
journey, you start to unravel all of that and you start to see what your higher self has to say about it. You put your higher
Mm.
self involved, not someone's interpretation of God. You know what I mean? You want to
Yes.
know for
Yeah.
sure. Speak to me. I don't need a pastor to tell me something you can tell me. Right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
grateful for a
Mm-hmm.
pastor if you really have a word, but now I got to be like, well, is that really what the word for you, or is that just a program?
Right.
Because if you are a pastor, no disrespect to a pastor, but you have people who are in the pews and who are come to church, they're not looking to find their own way. They're looking for someone to do it for them. So when you come
There you
across
go.
somebody like me and you, well, now everything that comes to us, no matter who you are, no matter what your reputation is, we're going to filter it before we even decide to consider it.
Mm-hmm. That part.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's automatic. I know for me it is kind of automatic. I've always kind of been a person to question things. So even more so now, um and my senses are heightened. I was just talking to my other self this morning in the shower and just it was like I don't know necessarily. I feel that my pineal gland is opening. Um whether it's open all the way, I don't know, but I am very aware of a lot of things, and I guess having all of this alone time that I have, and me naturally being a loner, and enjoying my own company and having books to read, and things to research. Yeah, it's interesting. I can think about something, all right, or think about someone, and hadn't heard or talked to them in years or a long time, months, and literally as soon as I'm thinking about that person, I'll get an email, something will pop up on my phone. The person will call me. Or especially when I was in LA, I would think about somebody I hadn't seen, and it's easy not to see people. Airport's so big, especially if I only work downstairs and I didn't work at the gates. But I could go a long time without seeing or someone or thinking about someone, and as soon as I had the thought that, damn, I wonder if I'm gonna see this person, be it a star, be it a celebrity, be it a person that I know that I had, and literally within, I could get it down to a few days, maybe a few hours that I would see or hear from this person. Shirley Ralph, I said I was gonna meet her. She walked in right to my counter less than a week later. I was like, "Why?" And I told her, I said, I willed you to me. I know she was like, "What?" I was
Right?
like, "Yes, ma'am, you and your handsome son and just walked up here. That wasn't just to me. Yeah, I wasn't surprised when it happened too, because it was like, but I said that I am a manifester. I did say that I was going to see this lady, and I mean that was like, boop, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how do I make that happen with money? I mean, I have a mentor that we talk about that. We used to talk about that all the time. Like, we can make a whole lot of shit show up, but what is it about money? Where's the block that money doesn't flow as easily and effortlessly as things that money buys, if that makes any sense? Anything I need or want, I can think about it, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna make it happen, then I'm gonna get it. It may take a minute, but for me to say, okay, I want, and that's what I'm not that I'm working on that, but I'm working on changing my mindset on, okay, I need to be unencumbered with a job. I need to be encumbered with the things that I want to work on and produce and make a difference in this podcast, growing my following, however that is, to help me to sustain myself without having to go out and say, "Master, can I get a job?" And I just refuse to do that, which is, why I want to put my efforts into this and my brand and learning all the stuff that I need to know about marketing. I'm learning about not crypto but stocks,
Mm-hmm.
and just putting my little change in here or there, learning how to read these candlesticks, because it's you said, it's so much stuff out here right now to um make your own way, that to get stuck behind a time clock where you got, I mean, at the airport, as much as I hate it, I love to fly, so I do have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
But once that plan is accomplished and I got those free flight benefits, you know, I have coworkers that's all they know is the airline industry, and instead of going and finding something out, as much as they complain about the stress of working there, they're gonna stay there until they're 60 something, 70 something years old. I'm like, okay, well,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna use that time to figure out something else out and travel and use my benefits, not stay until I'm almost dead and then I'd retire and then I'm gone in a year and I haven't gone anywhere. It makes no sense. So I said I was gonna stop, but um,
No,
yeah,
let's touch
you
on it.
said
No,
that.
no, let's touch on it. No, let's touch on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Okay.
the money, right? I'm in the same boat. I don't see myself working for nobody. That was a part of my awakening. I was like, I'm tired of taking orders from people, and people
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's one thing to work with someone who sees you and actually cares about you and want the best for you. But a lot of these people
Yeah.
don't. They just want you to do your job. They're trained on how to act like they care about you. It's different from someone who
And some
truly
of them don't
sees you.
even care. Ain't even
Ex-
don't even care to be trained. They just gonna tell you what you tell you because they know there's another person that's waiting to get your job.
Exactly. So with that being
Yeah.
said, when you're dealing with that type of energy, if you have this
Mhm.
soul, if you have this spark inside of you, how much can it shine, right? So
Yeah.
when you're
Yeah.
talking about, okay, well, how do I manifest money? The bigger your goal is, the bigger your vision is, the bigger your
Mhm.
role is, it's going to mean
Mhm.
it's really like starting over. It's like you're starting over and you're learning to make manifest. Because right now,
Mhm.
this is the process of you manifesting it. We
Mhm.
don't want, it's not supposed to come fast, because the fast money, who's fast money coming from, right? But the money
Mhm.
that you earn and you actually put your intentions into, and you grow and you learn how to work this device. Oh, I need this. Oh, I need a camera. Oh, I need a mic. Like that's
Mhm.
work, Then once you get it
Mhm.
and you got it where you want to, and then you start seeing the money come from it, now it's in alignment with your soul. And I think
Mhm.
that's the difference from people who are on this path versus people who just, because a lot of people, they want money, they want the house, they want the car, they want the family, they want whatever. And what's after that? Maybe some land, maybe a business, right? But when you're somebody who wants freedom and
Mhm.
you just want to be
Autonomy.
free,
Yes.
that hits a
Yeah.
little different, because it's beyond all of that. For
Mhm.
me, it's about being able to do what I want, when I want, how I want, without
That's
feeling like I
autonomy.
have anybody that I have to answer to. To me,
Yes.
that's what it's all about. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever I got to do to learn, whatever I got to do, like you say, your brand, learning about all these things, learning about the stocks, these are little things that accumulates to big things and can give
Mm-hmm.
you that freedom. Because at the end of the day, you still want to be free to be yourself, and you still have so much to learn
Yeah.
about yourself. You still, there's so much to
Absolutely.
explore. It's kind of hard. I feel for people who are seeking to figure out what life is about, but they have to pour so much into someone else's dream, and
Mm-hmm.
they don't care about we can go on and on about that, but I wanted to touch on that.
Yeah.
So when you said, we talk about, well, what is it? Why can't I manifest this and manifest that? I mean, you're doing it. It's just the bigger the manifestation, the longer I think it takes. And
Mm-hmm.
when you said, my pineal gland open, first of all, a lot of people don't have psychic experiences. A lot of people are not having synchronicities. A lot of people are not in tune like that. It's not that they can't be in tune, it's that they're not doing the
Mm-hmm.
work that's going to put them in tune. You have to
Yeah.
change what you're eating. Now, you have some people who may not be eating all that healthy and they can still have spiritual experiences. And,
Mm-hmm.
I would never take anything away from them, but I'm pretty sure if they started eating differently, then their
All the more
experiences
better.
would just exactly will
Yeah.
expand. Um,
Exactly.
so if you ask me, I would say your pineal gland is definitely open, and depending on what you do on a day-to-day basis will determine if it continues to open
Mm-hmm.
even more. But from what you've shared with me, it's doing what it's meant to do.
It's doing it. Yeah. My instincts telling me that I definitely know that I'm on the right path. I just, like you said, life right now with the momentum, or slow momentum that I'm gaining. Yeah, I guess it's coming out of LA, and definitely needing to come out of LA, because like I said, when I say I was stressed, I mean, I hadn't been on, as much as I've lived my life a majority of the time on the East Coast, where there's, racism, and that to me wasn't as stressful. Maybe that was my normal, the way that California is normal, to most people who've never lived anywhere else, that earthquakes is their normal. And to me, that's just, that is the most foreign. I mean, my whole prayer every time I was there, for the time that I was there, was just, Lord, just please let me make it out before, something major happens. And I was, like I said, I was there until April of last year, so I've seen the landslides and the forest fire and the fires and just all of that stuff, the road rage, just everything that caused me to go onto some high blood pressure medicine, because again, not having been in that much stress, it took this long and this late in life to be on this particular type of job, and to have angry passengers, and people fighting you for you to help them, but they're fighting you along the way. And I was like, listen, and me not really knowing what that was, it's like, hey, I'm not a killer, but like you said, that warrior comes out. If you met my mother and knowing my father and the way that he raised me, I'm sensitive, but it's not a mask that I wear, that I ain't no punk. At the same time. But even in that, it was just, I didn't, you got to be on your best behavior when you're at work. And this, it's all of those things that you have to navigate as a person of color, working in this white world where you run into people who have the white privilege is really a thing. And to put that on top of, well, do you know who I am? And I have this particular tier of service that I think that, garners me to be able to talk to you any kind of way that I should be able to talk to you. Well, that don't cover all of that. I understand that you are executive platinum, but the plane left 2 minutes ago and you just got here, and so now you want my job because I'm telling you you can't leave your bags here and still try to go to the plane. That all of the stresses of trying to do your job and keep your job. It just took a toll on my body. That, and just living in LA I can survive anywhere, and I have. But my intention for being in LA was never to stay as long as I did. And now that I've been relocated here, it's kind of like as much as I was ready to go, there were a lot of things that I realized I miss about California. I miss the sunshine. And I miss the warm weather. I miss the ability to be able to get in my car and go hiking. Not necessarily have to be around anybody, but just I can park my car and I can go out, put my headphones on, and I don't have to see anybody, for a few hours, and get exercise and get that sun, and then go to the park and just have more days of sunshine than being over here. And it's probably not gonna, I mean, it was sunny, like I said, a little bit today, but tomorrow's the clouds are back. And not really, for those that, as you say, are not awake and aware and understand how much those things that I just mentioned can affect your mental state if you don't have them.
Mm-hmm.
And, everybody can't just up and leave the state or leave, the East Coast in the wintertime just because it's dreary and cold and dark and dank. But, I'm fortunate and grateful for my ability to have lived in a lot of different places. And that leads, I guess, to you mentioning that I don't have an accent. Well, I mean, like I said, my parents were born in North Carolina. But if you listen to once you hear my dad speak and my mother speak, you wouldn't be able to tell that they were born in North Carolina. When I started speaking, we lived in Denver. So whatever that dialect sounds in the Midwest or whatever. But yeah, coming back here and having grown up in the South, essentially from first grade, I was in South Carolina, and having friends. Now I could put you on the phone with a few of my black friends, and you'd swear they were white people. just the way that they sound. They don't sound like Paula Deen, but they have that that twang in their voice. It sounds like this.
Yeah.
And you're like, one syllable words sound like two syllables. Yeah, I have friends and family members that talk like that. But I'm grateful that I don't have. Now I can say some things that sound Southern, of course, and to someone who lives on the East Coast but lives up north, they could probably tell, you're not from. I don't sound like a New Yorker. I don't sound like a person who lives in DC necessarily. But when you said that I sound like I was from California, I was like, I don't say California. I don't say core. I've lived in a lot of places, so I know what dialects sound like. But I guess I'm just I call myself a citizen of the world. My dad says it's in my blood to travel. I lived in 11 places in between Orange County and LA County before I left. And I'm not even settled here. I'm still trying to figure out where do I want to be as far as in the States. If my parents weren't alive, and he already knows I'm already looking to get up out of here, especially the way that things are panning out with the leader that we have. I just feel like he's trying to blow shit up for good. At least over here. So I've been to Bali. I like the feel of Bali. The people are very nice and humble there. Bangkok, I like that area too. Jamaica is definitely somewhere where I could call home. But yeah, there's a lot of places that I've been able to travel. Amsterdam was really, really nice. Other than the cold weather, the cold climate, I like the diversity of Amsterdam, and the way you can get around there is really simple and easy. But yeah, I got a lot to figure out. Tennessee is not my home. It's not where I want to stay. It is close enough for me to drive to my father. That was one of the good things that made me, quickly decide to transfer out of LA. Mm-hmm. But yeah, 8.5 years in Los Angeles, and just the stresses of the city. And yeah, it was a time that I needed to be there to learn and experience the things that I did. But yeah, I miss it, but I'm glad I'm gone.
Yeah, bittersweet.
I'm glad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never been to Bali, but I've been to Thailand. I've been to
Hmm.
Philippines. Been to Guam,
Okay.
Hawaii. I love Thailand. Like I
Yeah.
was all over. I went to a few places in Thailand, and I kept going back to Thailand
Okay.
and the Philippines because I'll experience something, and I'm like, there's so much more to explore.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know, in the Philippines, you have north, the middle, which they call Visayas, and they have south, which is like where Manny Pacquiao is from, General
Hmm.
Santos. So I was pretty much just exploring all the Philippines.
Nice.
Thailand, I love Thailand. It's very serene. You know, I've been
Hmm.
to Bangkok, but I've been to Phuket, Pattaya, and some people call it Pattaya, but Pattaya and
Okay.
Hat Thai, Hatyai, and they're really like there's a lot of Rastafari and like Thai people there. A lot of Bob
Mm.
Marley, you know, a lot of weed. It's just really chill, and these are the places where I really felt like super accepted compared to being here in
Hmm.
America. They look at you
Yeah.
differently. The women treat you differently. Like I'd never been
Mm.
to certain places. I got this in Thailand and the Philippines and a little in other places, but you know, I will meet women and they would just look at me and they would just because they're really big on Blasian babies. They really want like a
Mm-hmm.
mixed baby. They like
Yeah.
the nose, like stuff that you don't hear nobody talking about, you know?
Hmm.
And you know, after experiencing that, then you come back to America, it's like,
Hmm.
you know, people can't perceive or fathom what it's like over there. So I come here, you know, with that energy of feeling like, yeah, I am something. I am somebody. I am appreciated. So that's what
Yeah.
I look for in a woman. You know, I think in a way I was wanting that, you know, and I realized
Hmm.
no, America is America. It's a little different, but
It's different.
traveling gave me something to aim for. Like people who only experience this, that's what they aim for. It's kind of like
Yeah.
the flea in the mayonnaise jar, where the flea can jump really high, put him in a mayonnaise
Hmm.
jar, it only jumps high enough not to hit its head. Then it has
Hmm.
babies, and the baby doesn't even know how far it
No
can
jump.
jump.
Yeah.
So me
Yeah.
traveling has just really opened up my vision and my imagination to what I could have because being in America, they're gonna tell you what you can have and what you should
Yeah.
have. That's gonna, you know. So
Yeah.
you know, I'm here now. I had to come back from my spiritual journey, but
Mm.
I don't know when, but I'm working on getting out of here too. I don't want
Yeah.
to, you know, I know where I want to how I want to live the rest of my days in
Mm.
happiness without because now here's the thing, and you hear it all the time when people travel and they come back to America. They tell you exactly the energy it feels like. You know, when people go to their retreats, their healing retreats, and then they gotta come back here. You
Mm.
know, it's hard for them to
Mm.
hold on to all that healing now because all the
Mm.
energy is just it just pounces
This
on
is,
you.
vibration gets denser when as soon as you cross over that line and come back in and you land, it's like, oh, you're just heavy again.
Oh man, so
Yeah.
it's everywhere. And not only that, we're dealing with frequencies, we're dealing with towers, we're dealing with 5G, and you're dealing with collective consciousness. That's something a
Hmm.
lot of people don't take into consideration. The
Yeah.
collective consciousness, everybody on this wave. So you can be different from everybody, but you're still dealing with that energy. So
Yeah.
someone who's free and just want to be free, you just want to be somewhere where you don't have to feel like you're fighting all of this stuff. You just want to be able to
Yeah.
just be. Because when you in those places, like this is how I see it. Okay, so when you're sensitive, right?
Hmm.
You're sensitive to other people's energies. So you're
Hmm.
cleansing your energy, you're doing chakra work, you're on defense. You're just defending
Hmm.
yourself and protecting yourself. But when you go somewhere when you ain't got to do that, it's just like what I could just wake up and be and keep the same
And
energy
yeah.
and just
Yeah.
sky's the limit. And that's what
Hmm.
I call this world. See, you know, like this world can be a big place, but when you're a world traveler, this world is your backyard. Like it don't.
Don't you know?
I could look at a map for hours and be like, "Oh, I want to go there. I could
Yeah.
go here. Oh, what they
Yeah.
like over there." I get so
Hmm.
excited when I meet people from different cultures, from different backgrounds. I ask them a million questions, because I can live vicariously through them. And that's one of the reasons why I went to the Philippines, because I work with so many Filipinos. And they were like, you gotta come to the
Okay.
Philippines. And when I went, oh my God, it's nothing like it. It's nothing like
Yeah.
it. So anyway, I could go on and on about that. But yeah,
No.
I truly believe life is what you make it. We just need the right examples to, some people just don't have the right examples. They just need someone to
Yeah.
let them know, like, you can be whatever, I mean, I wouldn't encourage somebody to want to be the president, but, you know, you could, when I say you could be whatever you want to be, I
Well, I
mean,
mean, you could be a convict to be a president now. It's like, it's like what the standard is just in the toilet now. But again, if you're conscious though, when you think about, there's a reason for all things, and although we don't know how this man has been able to slither and slide through all of this shit. Yeah, I did that, but I got off. Yeah, I did this. And the Supreme Courts are somehow even in the authority that they have to be able to say, okay, yeah, we're gonna let that slide. But for him to tell you, I'm gonna do all this shit when I get y'all, don't let me get in office, because I'm gonna fuck this up, and I'm gonna fuck that up, and I'm gonna fuck this up, and then, yeah, I'm gonna fuck that up too on day one. Nah, he's not gonna do that. I'm telling you, I'm gonna do this. So don't. Yeah, I'm coming for your auntie that wasn't born over here, and don't worry, don't be looking in my closet, and don't ask me about my foreign wife and my foreign kids, or those people that weren't born here. But no, yeah, we coming for y'all. Nah, he's not gonna do that. Oh my God, I can't believe he actually. It's like, oh, you need to clean your chakras, cause the man, or at least clean your ears out. And put some glasses on, because the man told you. And to say that, it's to watch it and not be prepared, I think, is, if you're a Christian or if you call yourself a Christian and you read this book, that all up and through it talks about and gives you all these gives you all of these analogies of, don't be caught with your lamppost without oil in it, and don't make sure that you got this prepared, because the Lord is coming back. Well, I think that if you're calling yourself a Christian and you live by those rules or those words, yet you're not prepared when it comes to your household, and you think that this is just going to be 4 years that we have to endure this man going on a tyrant and just fucking up world relations, and yet everything is gonna be okay. It might be, but I'm just saying all that to say, being there at the airport and living in that stressful situation, I felt like I couldn't be the highly sensitive person, or when I was the highly sensitive person around, I guess, people that I work with, they weren't willing to see me as a highly sensitive person. When I'm saying, hey, I'm a sensitive person. Yeah, but man, I saw how you just went off on that person. Yeah, that's protecting myself, but that is not, and I don't want to lose myself and become so hardened by the industry that I have to work in to sustain myself as far as living. You see what I mean? To be there and deal with all of that and lose, like say, to gain the whole world and lose my soul, essentially. Yeah. I don't want to do that. I'd rather, if I got to be over here trying to make it work, as long as I can take care of my rent, because I know that eventually the gains are coming, and to keep my peace of mind, and to be, let's say in my bubble, or here in my safe space that I've created for myself. Yeah, I miss those connections, but would I trade it for the alternative? Nah. Nah, as long as I can. I mean, I've met you. I didn't know you the whole time I was in California. I get all the way to Tennessee and I meet a brother from California that's like me. You can't make this up. No. So wherever spirit means to bless you and pour into your life, if it's meant to be, even with a busted battery that dies on you.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
You know, just the two willing souls that was willing to get back out here and finish the conversation. Yeah, I'm just grateful. So I say all that to, I guess that leads to the question is um, how do you navigate that? I mean, what is your spoken intention when it comes to helping people? Do you want to be an inspiration or inspire, or and again, if you do, that's you. Like I said, I just kind of struggle with putting that out there as an intention, other than just letting me, or as to put it the way the Bible says, let your light so shine that that they're drawn to the higher spirit. Essentially, that's what I want to do. That's my goal. Yeah,
That's a
not
good
to say that
question.
I have fans and I have followers, and that just to me sounds like ego.
Yeah, I think there's a difference, I mean, everybody's got different intentions. But before I hop into that, I need to finish my original point. But I'm glad you got that out the way because it was
Yeah.
important. My point with the president, as I was saying, what I was saying, I wouldn't encourage somebody to want to be the president. I would encourage people to tap into their soul and listen to their soul to tell them what it is that they truly want, right? And when we're dealing with the president, I don't know how much you know about Freemasonry. I'm not sure how much you know about that
My
stuff.
brother was a Freemason, but he didn't share a whole lot. Of course,
Exactly,
they can't, but
exactly.
yeah,
So every president you see is involved in it.
yeah.
So when you talk about Democrats and Republicans, they're all on the same team. So any outlook that we have about how the world is and what they say and what they're gonna do, they really don't run it. They're just the puppets, right? So it's a stage. So let's say it's a stage, but we get worked up off of a play, then really we're giving our soul away because we're not even worked up about what really is actually happening. It's like they're manifesting something that's a decoy. And instead of us
Right.
seeing what the real problem is, we're seeing this and then we're pouring into that, which is
Into
sucking us
that.
and draining us, right?
That's
So
right.
with that being said, you know, it's hard for someone who's not an empath or a HSP to truly understand one. That's why most of them they pay money for people to see them. Psychiatrists and therapy and consultation. They can't, the same thing that they would want to talk to their best friend about, they can't because they don't get it. People have to literally go to school and cram all this information and learn about it, whether they're one themselves or not. But chances are they may be, to teach other people, right? Me and
Yeah.
you, we're going through it and we're like, somebody needs to tell us. So we don't have to go to college to learn about us because we're just having someone to help us understand the stuff that we're going through already, right? So when someone sees you go off on somebody, at that point, it's hard for them to see you as a sensitive. Because to you, you're a real one now. They already put you in a category, right? And it's probably going to be that's your reputation from that point on. That's just life. Now, and it's hard, like I said, if they're not sensitive themselves, it's really hard for them to truly understand it. They have to want to understand it. They literally would have to take time out their day and Google search it and then watch some videos and be like, oh, I get it now. Because if you tell them, they're going to see what they see. Now, how I'm these past 5 years, I haven't been working. I've been focusing on me and being sensitive. So I've tried it. I've tried to deal with women, let them know, hey, I'm sensitive. This is how I operate. They're not trying to hear that. They want to bring the masculinity out of me. That's what they want. And if I try to be masculine, now I'm out of balance because now there's a sensitive part. I don't have to be sensitive, but there's a time and place for everything. I could be masculine. I could cuss people out and fight and, put you in a chokehold if I have to, but I don't want to. That's because I was protecting myself, right? That's because showing my teeth is not working anymore. So if we do that way, we're doing that way so we can get back to ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's tough, especially in that field, because we can't assume that people get it. As you know, after all the researches you've done, is very few on this planet that actually get it and actually care to even know about it. People barely can handle their own situations, let alone care about ours, So it's tough. So how I handle it is I hold space for myself. You know, that
Mm,
time when you smoke that joint and you turn your phone off, that's how you handle it, by recharging yourself. Because at the end of the day, you
mm,
have to look out for you. It's nice to have people there, but the sooner we be like, well, if the sooner we accept that it may not be the case, then the better we were off. And then once we stop worrying about it, then voila, oh, there is somebody out there. It's just something
yeah,
energetically
yeah,
about, the energy that we put into stuff, wishing it and wanting it to happen, depending on what it is, especially if it's out of alignment with truth, it seems to be further away. So when we're dealing with people who haven't really figured out their own life, it's going to be very complicated to understand, because we're,
yeah,
I don't know, there's levels to us. We're deep. We feel things deeper. We express deeper. We understand deeper. So now, as far as being an inspiration, I'm naturally inspired. I like things that inspire me, you know? So because
mm-hmm,
I like things that inspire me, I get inspired, and then I operate from an inspired point of view. And then, so I don't say I would like to inspire people, right? Because then I don't have to
mm,
hold your hand. If you're inspired, now that inspire is your spark. You let that spark
mm,
take you where you need to go. Now, you, on the
mm.
other hand, you have more of a chill kind of way. You're grounded. You're a Virgo. You're grounded. I'm a Pisces. I'm in the cosmos. I'm all over the place, right? This is a little different.
Mm.
So you being
I
grounded,
feel all over the place, but
but
yeah, I get what you're saying.
feeling one way and looking it is different, because you can feel all
Mm,
over the place, but hold yourself, and people, they only know what they see.
yeah,
They only know what they hear
yeah,
from you. They only know what you show them, right? Me, on the other hand, I'm not like this all the time, but most when I'm by myself, when I'm in, I allow my inner child to come out.
mm,
I love to be inspired. I love to be what it feels like to not have to be an adult. And I think that's because of how I
mm-hmm,
was raised. I didn't have to grow up soon. I used to want responsibility. I used to want to mature, but really I'm a late bloomer, you know. In
mm.
fact, if it was up to me, I wouldn't have to worry about whatever being an adult is. If it was up to me, I'd be a kid all day, every day, and just
I
express
would
that,
too.
you know?
Yeah, and I grew up opposite of you. My first job was at 14, and all I know, well, I'll say all I know is to work. But yeah, I take care of myself. I'm responsible. But yeah, I'm the biggest kid. As even at my age, my dad calls me kiddo because I like to
Mhm.
joke. I have a good time, and you would think somebody's in here with me the way I laugh and joke by myself. But
Likewise.
yeah,
Yeah.
I love still doing things that are, and that's why most people don't really know how old I am because the people that are younger than me, they are like, "Wait, how old are you?" And I'll say how old I am, or I'll say I'm old enough to be your mom. And this one girl was like, "No," and I was like, "Well, how old is your mother? Is your mother such and such?" She was like, "No." I said, "Well, then I'm old enough to be your mother's brother." And everybody is like, "Well, I forget how old you are because you just have this youthful spirit." And I'm
Right.
like, "Well, I hope to keep it as long as possible.
Hmm. Yeah.
I hope
The
to."
choice is yours. And for me, um, I enjoy, like, for me, being a psychedelic integration coach. That was
Mm-hmm.
my goal. Like, I let life inspire me, and I want to express that inspiration so
Mm-hmm.
that way it can inspire others. Now, I get what you're saying when you say, I'm not trying to go out here, and you say it's a challenge for you to figure out that, post every day and do this and do that, because some people's intentions are different. It's different when
Mm-hmm.
you're actually doing this and this is your life, right? Some
Yeah.
people do
Yeah.
other stuff. This is just a fraction of what they do. So they don't have to pour into
Mm-hmm.
it. This is stuff we pour into. We take it
Yeah.
serious. So we're more selective with how we show up and how we want to show up. And
Mm-hmm.
my advice would be whatever your heart feels, because I don't think there's no right, there is a formula to it. You can go online and they'll teach you and train you, chat GPT, and you can make this many
Mm-hmm.
posts in a day. And I get that. That's more the
Yeah.
business,
Yeah.
advertisement part of it. But when this is your
Mm-hmm.
life and you're pouring out to people, it hits a little different. Your story
Yeah.
is what I think matters. And as long as whenever you're done doing what you're doing, you felt like you laid it out on the line and you're happy with what you're doing, then that's really what matters.
Well, I take that. I receive that. Yeah, as it's, like you said, to your point about it's because as we're trying to stay autonomous or reach that level of autonomy where, you don't have to. I don't want to look at my bank account. Not to say that I just want to go through it and just end, just spend, spend, spend. But
Mm-hmm.
if I want to get on a flight and go to Bora Bora, I don't want to have to, oh my God, how much money do I have to stay in a hostel because I don't have enough money to really live and,
Mm-hmm.
experience not, necessarily the best, but why not the best? You know what I mean? And when you said, it has to be, we have to go through the things. Well, I know my equipment. This mixer I need to study on that. I haven't been able to find a lot of video on this particular mixer, but I have the time to try and figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
But when I say I am of the mindset that when I see people that are posting, and this is another thing that kind of has me like baffled when it comes to social media and the things that get likes. Not that I'm jealous, I'm really just baffled that I can look at just posts that have no how do I
Authenticity.
say it without, well, they are authentic for sure, but no substance. No, what is the point of this? So okay, so you're sitting in your car and you got 12 lobsters and a big ass drink, and what you're talking about really is, what's the point of the conversation? And you got 1 million likes. I just want to say, I just want to take that video and then jump in it. And as I'm saying this, I'm inspired to say this, whether I'm gonna do it or not. But just to take how people repost other people's videos and just jump in there and be like, I really have a story to tell. I really have something that's of value and of substance, and I can't get not 1 or 2 likes, but this bullshit gets, you know, and not for nothing for the creator. Hey, do your thing, get your money how you get your money, but you have to. I guess in my mind it's like, because I value what I'm doing, because I do want to reach a certain audience, because I am an authentic person, it's hard for me to find something about my life. Yeah, I could talk about something every day, but my authentic self is, I might show up today. I don't feel the need to post my every thought. I don't want it to get to the point where, okay, yeah, I'm going through some stuff, and I posted about my brother, but it was strategic how I did it.
Mm-hmm.
I sat on it for a while because, like, is this really something that would be relevant to a highly sensitive person, or is this just me and my feelings about my brother that has nothing to do with my platform? You know what I mean? Yes, it's part of my day. Yes, it would get someone, more, I guess, uh, um, um, what's the word? You would be able to be into my life to know more about me as an individual, but as I'm watching different videos and different, CEOs of a Diary of a CEO and these other people that bring on these people that are, autonomous for that reason, and able to do what they want to do, and now they're going to share how you could get to that level of being autonomous yourself. If it is a recipe, or okay, you have to do this every single day. Well, I mean, if it's no different to me, I guess, in building a car. Well, I can theorize of how I want the car to be built, and I got the book, I got all the parts, and whether I have the time and I can do it in the next 2 days, or I can do it in the next 2 years because I want to take the time to really think. Well, I want to think about how I want to put this part on. But I have the part and I got the tools. So how fast do you want to drive this car? Well, as fast as you want to figure this shit out. Well, okay. If I can do what I need to do to be autonomous, let's say in 30 days, um, I believe that, yeah, if I put the effort in, realistically, if there are people that are posting that fast and that much, I'm not saying that that's just going to be my goal, is to do it that way. But I don't really necessarily think that it's going to take 10 years You know what I mean? Or even who's, let's say for the both of us, that let's say come summertime, depending on how bad we work or how I don't necessarily think that it's about how hard we work. I think that if your intentions are out there, and it could take, as I say, one video could go viral and change your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I just want whatever it is that's gonna go viral or will go viral or could go viral to be something that I would be proud to go viral, as opposed to sitting in my car eating, eating, something mukbang, or if you could sleep at night making $10 million, that just wouldn't resonate with my soul, to be, being able to live and be anywhere in the world, and every day all I got to do is get up and smack on some food and get, a million people to like that, because I feel like that's drawing the masses into the abyss. And I don't want to do that. And I don't want to be drawn into the abyss by strolling and scrolling. And so I'm cutting back on a lot of stuff. I have all these books that I've endeavored to read, and these stock books, and I'm looking at the stock, and I find myself even today and staring at my stock, putting these stock alerts in. I don't have anything in right now because I'm waiting, I'm seeing, I'm listening, learning these candlesticks, because if there are people that are out there, if just get started, you don't have to have $10 million in an investment account. If you got 300, as long as you get started a little bit at a time, adds up.
True.
And
that.
if I could do let's say if I made $100, $200 a day, I don't have to go to work. And I know it's a learning curve, and everybody's, you're not gonna, make all the money the first time. You're gonna lose something eventually. But that's where I'm at. I'm all over the place, but I'm focused. Focused and all over the place.
On a scale from 1 to 10, how many people do you think on this planet think like you?
Oh, on this planet? Not just this
Because people
continent that we're on.
all the people all over the planet is watching you too.
Well, that's a good question. How many do I think like me? I would say less than 10%. I'd be generous and say less than 15.
So let's say on a scale from 1 to 10, we give it a 1, right?
Oh, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say 2.
I just converted it.
Yeah.
I just converted it.
Okay. Sorry,
So with that being said, that means 8% likes all of this other stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, because I get where you're coming from. I get it. I know exactly what you're talking about. But if we were to put ourselves in their shoes, which will be hard to do if you're eating and on your stuff. I mean, how many people are actually doing the work to be where you are today, right?
Mm-hmm.
It takes work. It's not easy. It's easy to, some people talk about a lot of stuff that don't mean nothing, but a lot of people what are they talking about on their daily basis? So they resonate with that. A lot of people like a lot of stuff that don't mean much, but it means something to them. And a lot of people love the stuff that they're eating, right? So you have the majority of the world who, it's a game. That's what it is. So being in the world, YouTube content, all that is a game. And once we understand the game, you understand, wow, I'm so different from the game. So you also have to ask yourself, well, what is it that I truly want from this? And what is it going to take for me to get? And you have to be also clear with the type of people you want to reach. Because if you want to reach the people like you, then that's less. How much percent is that? Right?
Yeah.
So, so we're just, when we're looking at it, we're looking at the numbers, right? Looking at the numbers. Unless somebody's on their spiritual journey, unless they're really trying to seek themselves, unless they really want to know, then that would be more reason for them to value you and what you have to bring. And not to mention, you're dealing with, algorithm, and you're dealing with SEOs and It is a game. And I get what you're saying to where, it's good to not have to work hard. But I don't think there's anything you know how to do. I don't think there's anything you good at that you didn't have to work hard to get. We work hard in the beginning. We do what we have to do so that way we can do what we want to do.
There you go.
So all this.
You been talking to my daddy?
Well, he's probably related in the astral realm, somehow, some way.
Yeah, he threw that at me once about 10 years ago. Sometimes you're going to have to do what you have to do before you can do what you want to do. Okay, but when am I going to get there? Hell, I don't want to be 99.
But you're right where you're supposed to be, because as long as you have that youthism, as long as you isn't like, I'm tired, that's what it takes. Because once you get there, then it'd be like the great reset. Because this is what I've learned, even though I'm about to be 40. I'll turn 40 next month. And I look at a lot of people my age, they're just kind of just going along with it. They don't really have much to inspire them to be more than what they are. They're just surviving. They're just trying to not, and when you're focused on surviving, it's really hard to focus on thriving, because they're not the same. It's hard to thrive when you're trying to survive.
When you just survive.
I know from personal experience. And one of the realest things you've said is gain the world and lose your soul, which is the reason why I started my spiritual journey, because I had gained everything. I had money. I could do what I want. I could have lived anywhere in the world, but I had lost my soul. I didn't feel connected anymore. So I would say you being you and being very unique, you're going to have to do things differently. You can't do things the way other people do it. And you have to ask yourself, and you have to be okay. I think, I can't tell you what you have to do, but, and I'm speaking to myself too, because I plan on putting myself out there too. And it's easy to watch these videos and be like, how are they? Because the people that are liking it are like them more than like there's something in common. And so we have to figure out, well, how can we reach? Because I've done my own research, due diligence. So it's the wording, right? It's the settings, and it's just learning it, which is work. And then once you get it, and then you'll start to build a following or whatever the case may be, you really, because if you look at the videos, when we look at and find the people who talking about being an empath and talking about HSPs, they're not it's not a whole lot of people and a whole lot of likes and reviews that they're getting, which I appreciate. To be honest, for me, it's golden. Like if I get somebody who's talking what I need and they don't have a lot of reviews, to me, I feel like that's the most authentic, because a lot of this commercial stuff, a lot of the fake stuff have a lot of the views, not everybody, but a lot of it. So I say all that to say, when you are unique, if you're on a unique journey, you're going to have unique hurdles that you have to jump. And it comes with it. There's nothing wrong with looking at these things and feeling how you feel, because that's what happens when you think for yourself and you realize there's something different. I think it's okay to be like, well, what I got to do? It's a part of the process. So when you do get it, you'd be like, well, I had to do what I had to do to get to where I am. And then when you see somebody else talking the same stuff, you'd be like, hey, I know exactly where you're coming from.
Yeah, you're right. That's good. Yeah, I accept that. Yeah. That's what's up. Someone on the journey with me. It's good to be, to find like-minded people, because there's no way that I would have been able to tell you yesterday or 2 days ago when we were talking about doing this, that this is how this conversation was going to end up. Right. I couldn't have written this down. So I appreciate you just letting me flow and sticking to me. Whatever comes out, you share, I share.
Yeah. It's natural. It's the natural way of doing things when you get two spirits and souls that are in alignment. Things just happen. And I've been there. I know when you said it, when you spoke it, it resonated with me. I really was just operating from my past experiences with other people, because not everybody has a lot to talk and share about. Sometimes people talk about stuff that you don't care about. And if you're going to talk about something I don't care about, I'd rather just have a script of what I do care about. I want to talk about stuff that is in alignment because I could easily be into the conversation, or I could easily look like I'm in the conversation and be somewhere else. And then
But
when I get
yeah.
done waiting for you to say some key words for me to tune back in, and it seemed like I was really listening. So
Yeah. And
yeah.
that's real. Thank you for that authenticity too, because people do that in your face. They do that, so you can tell when if you're tuned in, with someone, and you can tell when they kind of tune out and fade out. Yeah, it happens in real life. Sad to say, but yeah, I'm just weeding out a lot of that. Just not being as easily available as I have been. And I know, and also exercising, having the exercise of being okay with people not being okay with me distancing myself. I'm talking about family members, friends. I don't wish you any bad will. We cool. We haven't fallen out, but I'm just recognizing that we don't have anything to talk about other than, hey, how you doing? How's the weather in California? Oh, it's good. When you coming out? Oh, I'm not sure when I'm coming out. Okay, well, I'll see you when you get here. But other than that, my phone works. I'm looking for that connection where, hey, you call me on the phone, not send me a text message and then I don't see it, and then it's 5 hours have gone by when you could have just called me on the phone to see if I was busy. Just, yeah, if I got to talk about it to explain it, then yeah, we just gonna keep it moving.
Right. It's life. It happens. I wanted to touch on this. You call it a backhanded compliment. So you felt like it was a backhanded compliment because you've been around him all these years, and then he finally says you're a real one?
Yeah, well, yeah, because I guess because of who I am, I can only determine, well, not determine, but I can only see from my viewpoint, right? I can see from yours. I can appreciate, but instinctively, if I'm being my authentic self, the way that I am with you, I'm talking to you on the phone. If you ask anybody from my childhood to California to describe me, it's going to be consistent. It's going to be consistent across the board. This person over here doesn't know this person. I don't switch up, who I am when I'm on the East Coast, and then I go out there, and then when I travel, I'm the same person when I travel. I don't turn into, ooh, nobody's watching, so I can, be over here doing this or being over here. Then, I am consistently myself. And to answer your question, yes, it felt like a backhanded compliment because it's well, who have I been showing you for the last 8 years? This is not me, gradually changing. So I showed up on day one, a certain way, and then ta-da, I pop out the bag on you and I'm just totally a different person. I have consistently shown you, if I give you my word, I'm going to give you my word. If I can't do what I said I was going to do, then you know me to be the person to come back and tell you, hey, I can't do it, or hey, I'm gonna have to do something, not just leave you hanging like everybody. How are you? I'm offended. Yeah, I'm a little offended that you would assume that I'm like everybody else that we both know as mutual friends, the 50 people that we know. If you've been lumping me in the category with these 50 people that you know ain't shit, yeah, that's a little bit of a backhanded compliment. Yes.
Let me ask you this. What gives you the impression that he didn't think that you was real from the beginning?
His assessment after I said some things to him that I know everybody at work would not have said. And that was his. Well, yeah, because that was the most. I guess that was the most in your face. I mean, I've been known to have an opinion and speak my mind at work the same way. If I could be with a passenger. A passenger says something that seems a little off. I could say it in a way that's not rude, but it is matter of fact to the point that I've had my coworkers say, you know what, Ray, I wish that I could be, or I wish I could not be like me, but I wish that I could say or speak my mind the way that you. And I was like, well, you can. There's a way that you can. Don't aspire to do it. Or, Ray, you need to be a supervisor. Well, why? Why do you feel like I should? Because you mean what you say, and you're going to stick your ground, and you're going to stand your ground. Okay, well, it's good to have that reputation of you know, these same people that have watched me from, you know, starting in the position that I started in, and most people to assume that I'm already a supervisor just the way that I carry myself. People seeing me, you know, take up for people who I know. Somebody comes in and they're cussing you out, and you're, you know, there was a guy, Edward was this Filipino, sweet and very non-alpha. And he came in, and this guy's back was, I got a story, but this is relevant to what you're saying. This Edward stood maybe 5'5", very, very, very petite guy, very little guy. And this big, heavy set white guy comes in with this bag that's overweight. And I hadn't known Edward, let's say he just got there 2 months ago, right? And he transferred in from Phoenix, and this guy comes in with this bag that's overweight. And Edward didn't realize that the man's bag was overweight until he left the terminal and went to the other terminal. And when, I guess for whatever reason, he had to come back to the terminal. So he comes back to the terminal. The bag is still sitting on the scale because, you know, he's got to figure out, shit, I'm supposed to charge this man $100 or whatever it is. So luckily the man comes back. So as the man comes back, Edward just very soft-spoken says, you know, sir, I apologize. I didn't, you know, realize that your bag was overweight. And the guy is just bullying him. So what are you going to do? So no, what if I didn't have it? And blah, blah, blah. And there's myself, a few other people that are standing around and watching this. And I'm waiting, but I'm getting real mad at the way that this man is talking to him. Mm-hmm. And I'm also getting mad at the fact that nobody is willing to get involved and help this guy, and we all work together.
Right.
And that's typical, but that's just not me. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to stand around and see you getting harassed and getting bullied by someone. So I kind of walked over to the guy, and I said, excuse me, sir. I said, I've been watching you talk to this guy, you know, and he's not going to say anything. He's not going to get, you know, irate with you. I said, but you really need to take the weight out or whatever. He can't accept a bag like this, or whatever I said. And so the man, before I did this, one of my coworkers, as she saw me walking in that direction, stopped me and was like, hey, don't lose your job over this. And to me, it wasn't about the job. I loved the job, loved to be able to fly, but this young man needed someone to stand in for him, not just stand around and just look. How would I feel if I'm in the right, and all these people, which has happened to me, and my coworkers are standing around, but they don't offer their support until the man or the situation is subsided. Then it's like, oh, Ray, you know, no, don't keep that. Save that. I needed you in the moment. That's when I know you got my back and you're real one. Yeah. And so the guy, you know, I walked up to the guy, then he gets in my face and he goes, well, so are you the manager? And I said, no. I said, but I just see how you're treating this young man. And I said, I just wanted to say something. He goes, what is your name? And I stopped and I looked at this man like, you really trying me today? You really want my name? I said, I'll be right back. I went and got this little notation, this little thing, and I wrote my name on it. And I walked back over there like, do what you got to do. You know, I knew I was in the right. And if I'm going to lose my job because I'm standing up for someone, then so be it. And I went to hand it to him and he wouldn't take it. And so I say that to say all of those people from the time that I started there till the time that I left, that's the me that they know. To say, yeah, you would be a good supervisor, or if a situation were to go left and there's no manager, hey Ray, can you come over here and help me with this? Hey Ray, can you help me with this situation? So for him to see me consistently for however many days times 8, 365 times 8, mm-hmm. If you can do the math that fast, that would be lovely. But for him to have consistently seen me be that person, and then when it came to, he and I had a very personal conversation where I didn't hold my tongue and say, hey, I care about you, but, you know, you too big, man. You too big. And if you want to be around here, you know, you passing out and falling out in here, you know, you got a wife at home. And basically, and I took it there. Do you really think she wants your big ass on her? You wait. He just has stopped actually and looked at me like, oh my God. And I was like, well, you know, I love you. I said, but you got sons. I said, you want to be around to see your sons go to college. You want to be around to see your sons have sons. And he went home, he thought about it, and I'm just happened to be on live on, but also, again, prior to this conversation, he's seeing my dad work out. My dad is 81, so back then, this is what, 75. And he's seeing my father, so he's asking my father, this is how close we are. Now, my dad, I wasn't FaceTiming with everybody at work to know who my father was, but, you know, it's like, hey, I'm sitting here with, hello, Dr. Niels, such and such and such and such. So how are you losing this weight? My dad's offering, well, I eat cottage cheese, I work out, I do this, I keep my protein, I stopped eating this, I stopped eating that. Okay, COVID comes. COVID ends, I come back, I hadn't seen him other than just every now and then, but he got bigger. I go into the break room one day. He's supposedly not eating bad or whatever. Got a block of butter on the table with some rice. But you saying that you trying to lose some weight. Everybody's like, well, so, and this is me. One of the coworkers was like, hey, we're going to get out and everybody's going to go out and we're going to walk with. I said, I'm not walking anywhere with. So needs to have his own willpower first. You got to show that you got some willpower. You sit here eating a block of butter. And this is the same way that so yes, in a long way around to answer your question, because I have consistently shown myself to be me, it was a surprise. I'm surprised that he was surprised that I'm me.
Saying you're a real one is not saying that he's surprised that you're being you. Because I can know you my whole life and never say you're a real one, but if one day say, oh, she a real one, that doesn't mean that I was surprised. That just means that was the day I made it known to someone else that you was a real one.
Well, no, you'd have to be there to hear the context of how he said it to me. It sounded like he was.
Please tell me the context.
It was, I'll say it this way. I'm going to take that out of it.
You said he said this to your dad, correct?
Well, he said it to me first, but then we got on FaceTime, and as he's talking, and I didn't know he was going to tell my father that, but I turned the camera to my dad, and he was talking to my dad. And he said, Dr. Niels, he said, I just want to tell you, your daughter, you know, she's like that, or however he said it. And my dad, was like, okay, but I'll say it the same way to say, my dad has known me my whole life. Now, I'll take it out of context. Now, I'm speaking about something totally different. Now,
okay,
my
before
father
you talk
left.
About something totally different, I'm trying to get
It's the same context. It's the same context.
And I've been very patient. Okay.
It's the same context. Trust me when I say it this way. Right. I'm trying to show you that it's even my father. Okay. It's even my father. Okay. So I'm just saying it like this, and I would say it this way. My father's known me my whole life. Same thing, right? Equal that way. When I had to go live with my father. I lost my house in Atlanta 2008 in the recession. So I go and I'm staying with my father. I'm working. I'm doing all these things. And around his house, I'm trying to find work, but it was at the beginning of the decline. So my dad, who hasn't been around me since he left when I was 17. So he's a new family. They're grown. They're out of the house. He's now retired. So now I'm seeing my dad again consistently because I'm living in his house. And during that time, it was like he had a revelation. We're in the car. We're going somewhere together. And I'm cleaning. I'm making my way at his house. I rebuilt his deck, which is a substantial deck. He bought the lumber. I fixed his deck. He's got a big ass backyard. I'm blowing leaves. I'm a worker, right? Doing all the stuff to earn my keep, to show appreciation because I can't pay to stay there.
Right.
And so we're in the car one day, same tone. And my dad says to me, as if it was a revelation, he looks at me, he goes, you don't seem to like the mundane. But it was like a revelation. And he goes, and I'm looking, I said, well, Daddy, who does? And he goes, oh, there's a lot of people that like routines and stuff and such. And he goes, you're not the kind of person that needs you don't need a full-time job, basically. He's like, I can just see you with a place and you're just traveling around. He said, you go hither, there, whatever. And, you come back, you're gone for 2-3 months and then you just drop your clothes off, change your clothes out and you're gone again. But I'm saying that to say that in the same context of, it was a revelation. You know me my whole life. You know that I travel. You know that I do all these things. What I'm thinking should be obvious He's like, it was a revelation, but it was the way that he said it was like, oh, I'm just getting that you're you. Yeah, he says it all the time. Okay, well, it's just in your blood. You need to sit here. You need to, he used to say that. You need to stay home. You, well, stay home for who? You put that in my blood. I've been traveling around with you when you were in the military.
That's a little
And now
different.
that you're sitting in one spot, I'm everywhere.
So I get it. That's a little different though. This is his name. What's his
Okay.
name? So and over here, your dad's been seeing you since you was a little girl, right? So
Yes.
that's a big deal though for him to say, you know what? Because you've been the same person, right? And
But he didn't see me though. That's what I mean. I'm saying as an adult, he wasn't in my life like that.
your dad.
Yeah,
Okay,
he was in
right,
Texas and
right,
then St. Louis.
right,
Yeah, he
right.
wasn't around me consistently. That's what I
So
mean.
then you finally come around you, and now he's seeing the. At that point, that is the. I imagine every day you're like fine wine, right? You get better with time. So at that
By
time,
then, yeah.
and now, right? Wouldn't you say every day you're getting better, right? In some shape, form, or fashion.
Absolutely.
So at that
Yeah, I try.
time, that was the best version of you he had ever experienced. So
Yes.
you being a woman and you holding it down, it puts him in position to really observe you in a way that he never had the
Mm,
opportunity to do that, right? Which is a
mm-hmm,
very
mm-hmm,
beautiful experience too. So back, I went,
mm-hmm.
okay, things happen because you point out a lot of good information. You had two conversations about his situation. One was about his weight when you told him what he needs to do. You just gave it to him, like, because he's seen you be a certain way, but it's different when you're talking to somebody in their personal life. You know what I mean? It
Mm-hmm.
hits different, right?
I got you. I can
So you're
appreciate
talking
that.
about his personal life because I imagine maybe he's married, maybe he's got a wife.
Yeah. Yeah, he
So
married and got two
so
boys.
you're talking to him in a way that his wife and his family probably don't even talk to him, right?
No, because they were enabling. Well, she was enabling him, even though he needed to lose weight.
Right, right.
Yeah,
So
she was
so
still feeding him the rice and whatnot.
Right. So, so when you're talking to, it hits different when you're talking to them about something that's really important. Because I can ignore you. You could be my mom, and I can ignore you. Especially when you have that type of relationship. It isn't. It hits different when it's somebody that don't have to care about you. You know what I mean? You don't have to care about. I
Hmm.
mean, you could just be whatever. But clearly, you did care, and that was your way of caring. And he's not black, so he probably don't have a black woman who gonna keep it real with him. It hits different, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So it took a while, but maybe he had his own revelation. Like, okay, well, it started because sometimes it take a while for people. Like you could tell somebody something, but it's like planting seeds. Like it takes a while
Hmm.
for the
Hmm.
proper conditions to grow and get sun and fertilizer and stuff like that. So I
Yeah.
say all that to say, and I'm glad because y'all the talking was just helping me prove my point, basically. So, so,
Digging
so,
it. I'm just
so,
digging
so, so basically, that's why I don't mind letting you talk. I'm like, okay, you just helping me out. So basically, you came at him because that is, so
it.
here's the thing. I'm not, even though I'm not big and I don't have those issues, but that's a very sensitive topic for a lot of people, especially if it's
Mhm.
hard for them. Clearly, there's something going on with them that they haven't addressed. It's called an
Yeah.
addiction. People are addicted to food. It's not
Yeah.
easy to fast and because here's the thing, when they do that, now you already know you're dealing with parasites, right? So when you're
Mhm.
dealing with them, you
Mhm.
stop, they get headaches, they getting all these
Yeah.
withdrawals. It's like being on
Yeah.
drugs, right? It's
Yeah.
hard, it's
Yeah.
painful, it's not easy. So I think when he was being real, when he told you first, you're a real one, um, because you were able to be real with him directly in a way that no one has ever been real with him. And even though he's been seeing you be real with everyone else and be at work, it hits different when you talk to him
Mm.
directly on something that is such a sensitive topic. And then he
Okay.
told your
Yeah.
dad because and it's, to me, I would say that's a compliment because you're your dad's baby girl. So I'll imagine him being a father. I'm pretty sure the best compliment he can ever hear is someone telling him, your son, I love your son, right? That's the greatest feeling in the world as a dad. Oh, okay, that means I'm doing something good. So in that case,
Yeah.
I think that was just a fatherly situation, because I would do the same thing if I met your dad. I would say, boom, I think there's something special with that. So with all that being said, I get where you're coming from, feeling like it's a backhanded comment because you real since day one, ain't nothing changed and this, like, that, and the third. But it hits differently when you talk to people directly.
Well, yeah, yeah, I get that. I guess I still say that. I guess for me, it was just the. Well, we can keep going. We can talk about it.
It's on you.
I mean,
Hey,
it's.
I'm confident. I'm standing 10 toes down on my
No,
part.
no, I agree with everything that you're saying. But when I say the reason for me, I guess wanting to distance myself from LA and just that energy there
That's a different story. We might as well just close that chapter and talk about that. This ain't the same thing.
Well, that's what I was alluded to is, my reasons for wanting to get out of there is because I didn't feel seen to be me, as I said before about being an empath, but still having to, do what I need to do as far as the job is concerned and protect myself and my energy, and how that got, the lines kind of blurred when it comes to who I am as an individual. But yeah, I guess it was just the being around people that are so hurt and traumatized, and because everybody else is, dealing with the things that they're dealing with outside of work and their lives and, their past and their parents and the things that they did or didn't get, or things that could still be, going on right now in their lives, and just everybody coming to work and bringing their little kid and their little son and little girl or whatever with them at work, and just as an empath, and I'll speak for myself, just being the listening ear for everybody, for a lot of people.
Same here.
And to have to come in there and hear this is what's going on, and keep the confidence and be in such a position that people trusted me enough that, you never heard your situation in the streets. You never heard, what you told me coming from someone else. But it was draining. It was just, but just to have that, be myself, be the authentic person, as you said, to be able to hold space for those people that trusted me to hold space in the way that I did, and yet, are you sure? But I am who I am. I am the person that you say you trust me to be, but then you're still questioning my authenticity. That's draining.
So certain people will question you. So this is separate, right?
What do you mean separate?
So when we talk about, because my main focus was one person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like the man who told your daughter you was the real one? Are you still talking about him? Do you feel like he questioned?
Oh no, because I mean like I said,
okay.
he was a coworker. He's married, so not in that regard. But
when I ask a question, I just need you to give me a little bit so I can carry on, right? So no, we're not talking about him. So now you're talking about everyone else that questioned your authenticity.
In general, yeah.
But do you know why they questioned you?
Because they weren't used to that.
There it is. They ain't never came across nobody like you. They probably never will.
Absolutely. I'm aware. Yeah, I'm aware, but I guess it's are you really a nice person? So you really ain't gonna switch up on me? It's like, yeah, you can trust me. Well, I don't know. Well, I understand that you've been hurt. Yeah. I understand that she's been, but it's only so much that I have a friend that I'll say I saw this person. I saw the hurt person. I saw something ain't right. I know you got the look and you trying to act like everything is cool, but I see you. Mm-hmm. And I said this early on. It's like, hey, you don't have to say anything. Mm-hmm. Every way that I was there physically to hold space, everything that I did to show this person, or so I thought. And the feedback was the same. Was I'm a protector. I'm a nurturer, and the way that I hold space could be a lot of different ways, but it's tangible efforts, right? But to still say, I guess, I know you got my best interest at heart, but I still don't trust it. Okay, well, after a while, I'm gonna be like, well, it was what it is, and it's time for me to move on, because I got to protect my energy, and I can't, or I choose not to continue to. I'm gonna throw another biblical verse out there, since you grew up
Go
in the church.
ahead, hit me with it.
To cast my pearls before swine.
I got you. Amen. That's where the organist come in and
yeah. And then I need a runner. Oh, somebody's running.
Break dancing in church. All right now.
But yeah, I guess it's a little lonely over here in Tennessee. Like I said, I miss some people, but the overall energy, I don't miss the energy. I miss the environment, but yeah. I just want you mean what you say, and when you know that I am a person that says what I mean and mean what I say. To me, it just seemed just a lot of empty "I miss yous." You know what I mean? Oh, well, I miss you, Ray. I could post something. Ray, I miss you. Okay, yeah, but I haven't heard from you. A text, a call. I'm an intentional person, so if you don't have to wonder whether I miss you.
Right.
We don't have to have a love connection. It could be a platonic. Hey, hey, I ain't talked to you. You all right over there? And I guess reflecting on my brother and his situation and just him living by himself, and my dad was trying to get in touch with him, and he had just talked to him that day, and I think he said he called him the next day, couldn't get in touch with him, and nobody else could, and my dad kind of had an idea when he couldn't get in touch with him that something was not right, and it wasn't. And so I just think about that, as even for me, I'm a single woman. I live here. It's hard not to think about those kinds of things. I'm not in a position that he was in, but anything could happen. You don't know when your ticket's gonna be called, and just to be here and by myself, and I think about those things, like, how do I want that support system to be able to call. Hey, I want to call. I'm not just calling and popping up on you, but I care. I'm calling because I care. You know what I mean? And hey, it's in my phone, there's not too many people that I have listed in my phone that's gonna ring through my do not disturb. So, that I think that's profound. And for me to be the person that I am, and to be able to say that at the same time is a little depressing.
I appreciate your
if
transparency.
I'm being honest.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I've been there. When you're talking, there hasn't been not one thing you said that I can't relate to. And these are the things I had to heal personally. The people, the relationships that I've had, that especially as we evolve, our understanding of what unconditional love is different, from a lot of people. And that's where compassion comes into play, right? Because it would be nice to have somebody that matches us, but they'd have to go through the work and to go through the shit we went through to even know what that even feels like, So just consider yourself an angel, right? And if you're an angel, you're here to do angel things. An angel is like, you're good at the end of the day. But we're here in this density, so we're still having this human experience, right? Because I'm not taking away from that. I'm not going to sit up here and try to be all positive and tell you not to feel the way you feel, because it's important to feel what you feel and be honest with yourself with what you're feeling, so that way you're not spiritually bypassing yourself. But when I say I get it, I get it. I can't tell you how many people that I love and care about I've thought about in different ways, and felt like I wasn't getting the same thing in return. But it just I realized after a while, if I keep thinking like that, then it seems like it can turn into a rabbit hole, and it can make things darker than it really has to be from my personal experience. But I get it, and I support you. If you were some regular person, I'd feel sorry for you.
Hold on, I need to digest that myself. Hold on, Wait a minute. Say it again.
If you was a regular person, I'd be, oh, little tink tink. Oh,
Oh,
sorry
okay.
about that. What happened? Why would they do that?
Uh,
Right?
okay, I got you. Like, what the I got you. I needed that one. Okay. You did a little brain twister for a minute. Okay. Got it. Okay. Well, let me not be ordinary. God forbid. Oh.
Damn, we keep when people call.
Well,
Um,
you're a wanted brother. That's good. That's good. I'm glad to
yeah,
have taken up about what, 2 hours, 3 hours, almost 3 hours of your time. I
it
appreciate you.
is necessary. It's good to talk to a real one, and
I
allow
appreciate
you to
that.
get, say what you need to say and speak on the things that you're speaking on, and things that I can relate to and pertain to. And I just my only thing is, out of everything you said, I wouldn't I wouldn't consider that a backhanded compliment at all. He meant what he meant, and he
Okay,
and that he did the
I
best he
got you.
could. Everything else you said, I would not challenge none of that. But that one, that's why I went into it, because I was saying, like,
Okay.
he's different. He operates differently. He's going through different stuff. They don't think and operate the way you do. And when you
Yeah,
operate, think you do the way you do, then it's hard to see things from the way you see it, right? Because
that's true.
if that's the case, you'll always be upset, because ain't nobody gonna see it the way you see it. Most
That's
people
right.
don't. So
That's
when
right.
you are a certain person and you're here to do certain things, that's what keeps us grounded, is to have compassion. Well, and it's easier for me to do it than you do it, because if the shoe was on the other foot, I'd probably be the one feeling that way, and you'd probably see it. Well, what if it was this, and what if it was that?
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
that's why, I'm really good at what I do, is because when people tell me, I can see what they're saying and let them say what they
Hmm.
have to say, and just see if we could look at it a little different. But I'm not trying to sell you any wolf tickets. I'm not trying to be some super positive person. Just see if we could see it a little differently, and
Yeah,
allow you to give me more into that, because it only works if we're both in agreement. If you don't
I
agree with
agree.
it, I don't care. It don't even matter. I'm trying to see if we can both find something we both can agree on, which means that um we can change the frequency on that, because the brother seems like a really good brother, and I'm pretty sure you mean a lot to
Oh
that
yeah,
brother.
tremendous, tremendous, a good dude. Yeah, yeah, I mean, working there, it is definitely a family. You get used to seeing people's quirks and acting a certain way, and then
Hmm.
it turns into brothers and sisters, and you miss when they're not there, and you can tell when they're not there or when they should be there. Or yeah, yeah. So you had
Yeah,
to turn into a brother, and yeah,
yeah, and
I
everybody
miss
else
them
too.
too.
When they say they miss you, they really do. I know it's easy to be like, well, if you miss me, I want to hear it differently, but they're doing the best they can with what they have.
I'll
And to be
take
honest
that.
with you, they probably don't even really know how you feel about it. And if they knew how you feel, they'd probably be like, damn, you feel like that? Well, let me reach out a little bit more, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you are who you are. I'm not saying that to say you
Well,
should change.
and even that, I would say I did get my flowers from a few people before I left. Those that took the time to actually read my book.
Yeah.
It was nice to have gotten. And now this was kind of a backhanded compliment. This lady that I work with, she actually said to me, she bought my book while I was on vacation.
Mhm.
And by the time I came back, although she had been giving me all these excuses as to she didn't want to go on Amazon, she didn't know how to get books and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, oh, I just left it alone. I said, well, if you want to buy it, you can buy it.
Mhm.
And so I came back to work and she told me, I read your book. I said, you read my book? When? I said, I thought you didn't get the book. She's like, no, I read it. And she said, I didn't like you. Now, I loved the realness of Maria because she said, I didn't like you again, going on, just seeing me, not having a conversation, but watching me work. And of course, not consistently being an asshole to people, but, just standing my ground. And she said, I didn't like you before I read your book, but she says, but now that I read your book, I have the most respect for you. And it was like when I say attitude, everything changed. Her disposition, she was very cordial. She talked to me. She started working beside me, and just making little jokes and having conversation with me. And I was like, wow, if I wrote it just for that, to have a few people to open up and come to me and even talk about how they were an empath or they were highly sensitive, or it made them start to wonder and then open up and share, this is how I was. And this was an older lady that my mentor, that I respected her so much. And she grabbed me one day. I gave her my book. I wrote and signed it in this thing and told her how much I respected her. And that was on, say, a Thursday. I go back to work Monday, and I pass her to go to my station, and she just stops and she just looks at me, and I'm like, is everything okay? And she just put her hands out and she just hugged me. I think that was the first time she had ever hugged me. And I was like, what's going on? She's like, I read your book. I said, I just gave it to you. And when she just started, we ended up almost bawling. We both had to kind of separate. And I said, I got to go. I said, because I'm about to start crying. And for her to be, she's old enough to be my mother, but the way that she opened up and shared, some things about her life that she never had shared with me for the time that I was there. So yeah, those types of things, for those to see me that needed to, I'll say that needed to see me or chose to see me differently, and for them to tell me that, that was a blessing, because there was a lot of people there that I knew read my book that didn't say anything to me at all, just kind of, and borrowed the book, but didn't want to tell me or didn't want to go buy it.
Right.
You just want to be a boy, or you just want to figure out and be nosy. Okay, cool. Well, here you go. Yeah.
Look at you getting your roses, touching the heart, stacking
that felt
relate.
good.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm
felt
saying.
Good.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, that was nice. It definitely was.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Just planting
seeds.
At me.
Hey. Some people plant, what they say, some people water. Let me get out the Bible, man. I ain't been in that book in so long.
For real.
but I know it.
I'm with you. Hey, look, there's a time and place for everything. This is all a part of who you are. Yeah. This is all a part of who you are. Whatever, it's good to have different tools in your bag. You never know which one you're gonna use. You will never hear me tell you not to, because I be needing to hear it too. I don't know everything, but there's a time and place for everything. So when you talked about casting pearls before swine, like, I believe the Bible is a personal diary for people. You take the meat and you chew the meat and you spit out the bone.
Yeah. I agree. There's a lot of things that still come back to my mind, and I can, for sure.
Good.
Everything's in preparation, so yeah, I believe that too.
Absolutely. That was a real roller coaster.
Oh, we only get started. That was a kiddie ride you was on. What you talking about? That was a kiddie ride. You only had to be this tall to get on that one. Come on now. I jumped out of an airplane, baby. So that's the kiddie ride. That's all you can hang with this? Okay, let me know.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good, though. I'm really happy that you're on this journey and living it fully and going through the process that you're going through. When I see someone who's an empath or chosen or whatever you want to put it, and I hear the challenges they go through, I'm like, yep, that's it. That's how it goes. I'd rather hear you talk about your challenges and actually doing something about it than to be talking about it and ain't doing nothing about it.
Yeah.
And that's when it becomes like, okay, because I get to experience that, and then because I have a good memory. So maybe a year now, we be talking about your new episodes, and then it's like I could keep a photo memory, and it's like a book. You know what I mean? I remember this and this and that, and so it allows me to live vicariously through people. I think that's one of the reasons why I experience what I experience, but I learn from other people. Our purpose to come here and incarnate into these bodies is to experience it. Right? And our experience in God's source lives through us. So the more we experience, the more God can experience through us. And so that way the next lifetime, if we come back, if we don't come back, now we don't have to go through the same things we went through. And to
Come
me, it
on,
just gets
man.
better, right? So that all the stuff you're going through now and you overcoming, that means you ain't got to go through that the next lifetime.
Yeah, and my life ain't all been bad, so it's like, well, I think I must have cleaned up a lot of shit the last time, because as bad as I think that it's been, it ain't been all that bad. I have to admit, my life has not been too hectic, too sad. Yeah, I've been through some shit that, as one of my friends at work says, you could have really done some other shit, or you could have chose to go a different way, and that's true. But I'm grateful that, I guess I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that I have the mind to not give up. I get tired, to your point earlier. I get tired. There's been some times where I'm like, you know what, damn, there was a point in my life where I was kind of feeling like this, hadn't yet been enlightened, but just, feeling like alone, and just like, I wonder if I just, put my head down in this bath water, would anybody care? If I just didn't breathe, it just didn't come back up out this water, how long would it take for somebody to find me? And just life would just go on, as usual and normal. So, yeah, I can admit that I've had a dark point. That's the darkest, but of course, I'm too afraid to kill myself.
Right. That's dark enough. You're like, I don't need no more darker than that, right?
Yeah, I don't want to have to hold my breath and somebody come in here and catch me all naked. Then that's the Virgo in my head. Oh my God, then I gotta somebody gonna come in here and find me. Wait a minute, I got some shit in the corner over here. I got some stuff written down. I don't want nobody to read. No, not yet.
Not yet. Right. That's beautiful.
Oh my goodness.
Here's the thing, like, they say it's not what happens to you, it's how you handle it. And as much as you're an empath, you're a strong empath. You're a strong HSP. So that is the difference. Sometimes we go through stuff that will break people, but we still find a way to keep going because we know we can't let it break us, because we're, when you have that spark inside of you, when you built differently, it's okay to have those moments. It happens. It's life. We're on Earth. Nobody gets out unscathed. Yeah. But this is just to remind us of, because I've had my own dark moments. I've thought about suicide and stuff like that too. So when you talk about this, it's just a reminder of, we can have these moments, and then we eventually break out of it, which gives us a different appreciation and outlook on life.
Yeah.
So
I got a lot of this life I want to see. I got a few more countries and continents I ain't seen yet.
It's so
places
much
I want to
do.
live and be able to post and be, hey, I want to jump on here, Brother Dev, where you at? I'm over here in Greece and Santorini, just chilling for a minute. Thought I'd do a podcast and blah blah blah. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff I want to see. A lot of things I want to do. I want to see some elephants in person. Yeah. That's I don't know if that's my spirit animal, but I love elephants. They do something to my soul. They do.
I like elephants too.
Yeah, I want to play with one. I don't want to get trampled on, but I do want to just, I want to play with some elephants.
They out there.
Yeah.
They waiting
I know they're all over Asia and Africa for sure. I'm gonna go mess with a little Dumbo or two. Yeah, as long as their mama don't get mad.
Elephants ain't no joke. If you do something to an elephant will remember you. There's a story, I don't know if you heard about it, but this lady did something and she died. No, I think the elephant killed the lady. And then the elephant went to the funeral where the elephant had died and started causing havoc. So I'm probably butchering the story, but the more of the story is that elephants, they're very wise, very smart, they're very powerful. You know what I mean? And they can be gentle too, but they have their breaking point. Like, especially if you mess with their babies, that's
why I say I just want them to. Hopefully, they know that I come in peace. I just want to come and play with them. Can they come out and play? That's all I want to know.
I'm sure they know. She different.
Yeah, animals and little animals. They seem to come around me. I like that I have that calm of a spirit to be around. They don't run from me or yeah.
Same here. I was the type when we used to go camping. I used to like feed all the critters and stuff like that. Even everything outside of the raccoons, the skunks. I just be throwing stuff out there. And yeah, I have pretty good relationships with animals myself. They tend to know the
Yeah,
difference.
that's what's up. Well, I said at the beginning of this that when I was doing the introduction video before we got started, time would tell whether you would be my friend by the end of this podcast, and I don't use that word very lightly at all. But yeah, you're a friend for sure.
Oh,
You are a friend.
we friends. It's a wrap.
Little
It's a
little
done
brother,
deal.
little big brother.
Yeah, we here
I
keeping each other
appreciate
in
you.
check.
I appreciate you. When you get
Appreciate
back
you.
on, we'll have to talk about it, and because I definitely would like to get more in depth and detail with your practice, and yeah, learn more about that for
For sure.
my own knowledge, and for anyone that hopefully tunes in that might also be interested. Before I let you go, and I will put that on the screen since you gave me your credentials, but anything that you'd like to promote for yourself, and shout out your social media or your number, whatever you got going on.
You can reach me at Brotha Dev, BROTHA _Dev, DEV on Instagram. And Deviance Griffin, DEVIONNCE GRIFFIN. Facebook. I know a lot of people don't do Facebook, but I spend a lot of time there with groups and stuff and just reaching out to people.
That's how
And
we met. Yeah.
exactly. It can be worth it. So, and
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty much it. I feel like we have a lot more to talk about. I'm still evolving. I'm, happy to talk about what I do because I want to inspire people. I want to be an example of us doing this work. And we can get
I
out of it
got
what
you.
we will put into it. And what you said when you was like, well, I didn't feel like I needed somebody to hold space for me. That's another thing too, because a lot of people don't. A lot of people are prepared to do it themselves. Just like when people go out to party, who gonna be drunk by the time you get done, and you know
Mm-hmm.
who gonna be the designated driver. You know who gonna be the
Right.
one making sure everybody got their stuff together. So
Mm-hmm.
that was like me and you. That was how we were. We went out. We may have had a drink or two, but we the ones that's gonna make sure we get back
Everybody get
safely.
home. That's
So
right.
there are certain people in this world who are able to manage their experiences, and then I have a certain protocol and certain way that I train people and prepare people to have their experience, and I help them integrate their experience after.
Okay.
And then it's a relationship. Some
Mm-hmm.
people do this for the experience, but I'm in it for becoming the best version of yourself to help you
Mm-hmm.
discover the things that you don't know or confirm the things that you think you know, because it will, when done right, there's a certain way to do it in a ceremonial way to administer
Mm-hmm.
it so that way at the end of the day you know that what you're dealing with is you, your spirit guides, source, ancestors, everything that is in your favor. Because if you're dealing with other energies, like we talked, there's a lot of dark stuff out there. So the goal is to help
Mm-hmm.
people to protect their energy so that way they're only dealing with the light, and then they can have a transformational experience and know that they know that they know that this is what they need to work on.
That's right. That's crazy. I'm gonna share something with you before you go. And I'm grateful that this is happening more. I had a desire, especially working at the airport with as many people as I had to be able to practice. I've been wanting to see people's auras. I didn't know how. Of course, you look online and there's, you try to search for how do you see, and of course they tell you to kind of stare at the side or, back. But the first person's aura that I saw is McGoy, the guy that's in one of my podcasts that I work with here
Mm-hmm.
at the airport. and I just happened to see his aura. We were talking one on the thing, and I didn't say anything to him at first because I wanted to make sure that that's what I was seeing. And so after the podcast was done, I think when I saw him the next day at work, I was like, "Yo, I think I saw your aura." And I just brought that up now because when you waved your hands, I think, and I'm gonna look back at this video, but I think I saw your aura, and it's that kind of the little things like that that just gets me so giddy. Like it doesn't take much, it's not anything that you can buy that I need you to give me that would, let's say, turn me on and give me a hard on, as it were, than just that little thing. It was like, wait a minute, did I just see his aura? Oh my God. That's so awesome. So anyway,
Beautiful.
Quirky Raye.
That's important. We need more people to see auras. They're important.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was awesome. So thank you. I don't know who it. Thank you, whoever I'm thinking, Universe Spirit guys, whoever allowed me to see Brother Dev's aura, I appreciate it.
Same here.
Brother Dev's ancestors, thank you. Whoever, thank you.
We appreciate you.
For sure. Well, tell me, now you did mention, I don't know if you mentioned your website. Is that something are you working on it? What is that going to be? Or
I've worked on it. It's up. So I always feel like I can do more to make it a little better. But it's self-discovery, www.selfdiscovery33.com. And but after talking to you today, I think I'm gonna be a little bit more specific. I'm just going to promote being a psychedelic integration, because that, I was trying to figure out, how do I show up? Do I show up as a spiritual coach, do this and do that? But now I'm just trying to be as simple as possible. I'm gonna just focus on one thing and allow my spiritual stuff to be an extra for when I'm dealing with people, which will help me to be more qualified of why I would be the perfect fit for someone who's looking for someone like me to help them with their psychedelic experience. Yeah,
I like that. That's cool. That is intentional, and then you're still able to market yourself that way. But to get them, that's more of a funnel. I get what you're saying.
Exactly, because I feel weird like showing up, and because my personal experience for a while, I was like, well, what do I call myself? Because what happened was, I used to say I'm this, but I would feel myself trying to be that, right? And then I'm going through all these stages of releasing. I felt like calling myself something was limiting me, it's putting me into a box. And I felt like my soul wanted to just be like, no, you're so much more than that. So now I'm just trying to be very careful of what I call myself.
Okay. Now this is where are you located physically, and how close are you to LA?
I'm about 5, depending on how you drive, 5-6 hours from LA. I'm in Richmond, California, right next to Oakland.
Oh, okay, you're up there. Okay, I got you. Yeah. All right. I didn't get to Richmond, but I was in Oakland. I drove my van. I went to, had a very interesting time, and we'll have to talk about it. I went to the National Forest in Santa Cruz, and didn't realize I was having a little moment when I went hiking down there. You ever been to the national? It's in Santa Cruz. I guess it's the only national forest there, but a lot of people go in there and hike.
I've been to some forests, here in Mendocino County, but not that one. But I'm already knowing like how beautiful it is out there, and I can only imagine what type of experiences you be having in the forest.
That early that morning, I parked and got up, and early there was a lot of people out there, but initially I started having I guess anxiety as I was going down into, because it was dark, you couldn't really necessarily see, but I didn't realize that's what I was having, and I was starting to hike down into the elevation started going down like that, and as I was going in, I couldn't really see, and it was dark and foggy and stuff, and so I was like, so these ladies were hiking out. They live around the area, so they do that like every other day, they said, and when they saw me, they could see, that I was kind of stressed, And so they were like, you okay? I was like, yeah. I said, but I'm feeling kind of, and it was interesting that they realized and knew exactly, what my body was going through. She's like, well, maybe you want to start up here on the other side and then make your, work your way down. And so once it got lighter and the sun was out, then it was beautiful because, there's a river, I think a river that runs through the very, very bottom. But when I say the elevation drops, like you coming back up, like, I don't know if you ever been to Potato Chip Rock in San
Mm-hmm.
Diego, but that's a steep terrain as far as
Ooh.
hiking. It's
Ooh.
beautiful, but man, it's challenging for sure. It's challenging. Yeah, this thing behind me, this stick went up and down that mountain in San Diego. I took it with me. I got this actually off some land in South Carolina, and I brought it back to LA and in my van. And yeah, I took that on that hike up Potato Chip Rock near San Diego. I miss
Nice.
California.
Yeah,
God,
I could
man, I miss
tell. I hear
California.
it. The beautiful parts of
The
California,
beautiful
right?
part is the nature, yeah. And the San Diego was always a vibe. I love San Diego.
Oh
If I
man,
could
was it in
afford
San
to live
Diego?
there.
Oh my God. I used to go to the Merchant Seaman. We would have small arms training annually, so I was always out there in San Diego. Like
Hmm.
there, as soon as you touch. Now we was talking about being in America and the vibrations, like the
Hmm.
frequency. But San
Hmm.
Diego, I never experienced like when you just something special about San Diego, like the air, the people. You just feel so free.
Yes.
The sun, the beaches,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
many burritos and tacos you can eat. I mean, it
And it
the
has rain. I mean, that to me is the difference. Is it feels like it has actual seasons down there. It's an hour and a half from LA, but it
Mhm.
just feels more like a city that's not in the desert of LA and the high desert. But
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely, if I could afford to live anywhere near San Diego, and I get this box truck and rebuild me a mobile thing, because van life is not a thing really out here. It's hard to do it, but
Mm.
definitely, yeah. And perfect world, podcasting from my box truck where I'm living really, really comfortable and on my own, as we say, on our own terms. That's the
You
goal,
making
is
it
to
work.
to yeah, I miss my van. I had a van built out, but my transmission died, so I had to. Actually slept in my Honda because I refused to get an apartment. It was
Mm.
like I could have afforded one, but it was like, nah, I can't justify spending more money than I'm spending here. And this was in 2021. It was like, no, I'm good. I'm glad I'm in my van, but yeah, just a studio where I could hear my neighbor snoring. That's how thin the walls were. And it was like $1,200 for this. And my car is on the street. I don't even have a place to park my car. Are you kidding me? It's just trash. Let me get out of here. Love
Uh,
hate. I got a love hate relationship with LA. Oh my God, you gotta love it. Yeah, and
Gotta
hate it.
love it. Got to.
Well,
Got to.
next time, brother. Until next time, you be safe. Thank you. I can't thank you enough for putting up with me and listening and learning about my quirky ass self firsthand. Thank you for doing your homework. But yeah, this is not the last time that we will break bread. I hope.
No, it's not. You ain't even gotta hope. You can just
All
take that
right.
out your vocabulary. You ain't even gotta hope for
Sounds.
that. And I appreciate it. It was a pleasure. It's mutual. Absolutely. So you're officially
Okay.
my sister, and we're
Okay.
gonna keep doing what we do.
Sounds good to me. You have a good evening. Blessed evening.
You too.
All right.
All right.
Take
Peace.
care.